Speaking about connection and awareness, you specialize in coaching for awareness of one's presence. And
Yes.
how is it different now in the virtual remote world?
I'm smiling with you because even though we've been here just now, I'm aware that we've laughed together. I'm aware that, I see in your face, you're wonderful. I've said this to you before, but you have very wonderful animation in your face. And so it hooks me to engage with you. I think now we see technology as a tool we could use. And if there's anything that was being reframed, it was our own inhibitions about using it. There's a wonderful book called Digital Language, or something by Erica Daha.
Erica Cohen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. And I think there's going to be more on really using digital space. There's also going to be wonderful ways of using, with more creative, I love creative images, but the truth is, our being together on the digital platform is here to stay. And I think it's only going to become more exciting. Look, people are taking yoga classes, cooking classes. The diversity of where Zoom has gone this year should inspire us. Yeah, and I think the other thing is, I think as a person about teaching presence, how are we present to each other in a way that has an impact? Also, we can even now, for anybody listening to this, the kind of questions that we wouldn't even, maybe ask before, we can consider. Like if we had 10 people, I could say, Shiyen, what's the question? Okay, I'm going to just do this with you since you asked, right? I could say, Shiyen, is there a question about your presence you're curious about? Do you have questions about your presence that you would love to get some reflections from other people?
I'd love to know how people feel when they first come in my presence before I maybe even talk, and then after I talk, how they feel.
Okay, let me just hold this. So if we had 10 people, let's say on this call with us, we could say, we're going to invite all 10 of you to be in a partner, and you're going to talk to the other person and just check in with each other. What did you feel when you noticed she? And each of you tell each other what you felt. And when you come back, we'd like to have you tell a little, this is what I feel when she sees me, and do this in a way that you own your experience and she gets to see herself through your eyes. And we would have all 5 pairs tell their story of what they discovered, like it's a little scenario of Shiyin from a different perspective. And so here's the interesting thing. What you're hearing is not just about Shiyin. What you're hearing is 10 different people. Because we know, this is a phrase, you've heard me say this, but I'm going to say this, it's such a powerful phrase. My perception of you is a reflection of me, but my response to you is an awareness of me.
I just love that one. It's so succinct and it encompasses everything right there.
It's so simple. And it also gets said of, your perception of me is a reflection of you, and my reaction to you is an awareness of me. It's so simple and it's so profound. And what we have learned is people, for lots of reasons, keep that secretive because it's too revealing. They alienate themselves from you. They don't share because they don't know if it's good enough or if they'll have to pay a price or later there'll be retribution. And we keep ourselves isolated. So I would say we could use this technology, and also, it's a simple question. We could have this be a simple question. It would take at least an hour to answer. And I assure you, Shiyen, you would be thinking about everybody's response for a long time. And we could do that now. And I do think people are interested. I think that's the other thing I'd say as I move forward in the world. I do this work with my colleague, Marsha Reynolds, and I do work with some amazing people in the world, and everyone is interested in their presence. Everyone wants to know how to use. We are the instrument. So there's a phrase that I took from Marsha, and that is, clients don't want us to be perfect. They want us to be present. And when people are really present, people, we have an impact. We feel more alive to people, and they feel more alive. And here's the thing is, if I'm fully present with you, that means I trust myself, but also you're going to trust me more. And what do we need more in the world now today? We need trust.
Trust.
Can't do anything without it, really. And that maybe is, as we go forward, there's more uncertainty now than ever. So how to create trust, understanding, and inspiration. I don't know where we're going, but I'm going to go there with you.
When it comes to executive presence, do you think executive presence is something that comes with power, or can you build executive presence before you attain that position of formal authority or power?
Well, I love your question, because right now, that's, first of all, there are some times that position confers a sense of opportunity that is a present if you use it in your presence. So if you use your authority in the right place, you will have presence. I tell a story, and I love this story. Years ago, we were in the hospital in Montreal, and my father-in-law was not well. All the family was there, and my husband's a physician, and my father-in-law's, trade, IV needed to be adjusted, and my husband adjusted it, and the male nurse came in, and he could see that it was adjusted, and he was furious. He was yelling. He said, he said to my husband, "Who do you think you are? Do you think you are a doctor?" And my husband said, "Yes, I do." It was just like that. It was so, like, it was not even a question. So how do you use your authority? On the other hand, there are moments when we emerge and we do use the moment when no one else quite knew how to, and we say what needs to be said. We have a presence. We have, here's an example, this terrible story that happened to George Floyd. We know it was horrible and broke open the Black Lives Matters at a new level. But the thing that was so extraordinary in that terrible story was one person who continued to run her video of that event. It was a young girl, Brianna, I believe. She ran her video, and that video was the turning point in the trial. And she ran it even though they were yelling at her to turn it off. So she was present to the moment. So I'd say to everybody is, how do we recognize the moment that we want to respond to, either to do what we feel is important, to respond to what somebody needed that nobody was responding, or to respond to what is missing. So presence is 3 different things. So it turns out, just to close with that, we have changed paradigms. That's why. Why is presence something that people ask about now for executive leadership and also for professional, impact? Because the world of what we know, the kind of transmission of knowledge by linear route memory and practice, that's important. But we've jumped to the world of vertical development, where we need to know what to do in the present moment and adapt old knowledge to serve it to the moment. And that requires that you are present, and in your presence are able to be adaptive in a way that matters. And Shiyen, that's a very different skill set. That is called use of self. It's truly, when we see people use themselves well, we are excited because we go, that's what I want. I want to be that person that can really respond in the moment to what is needed. Maya Angelou say, I may not remember what you said, but I will remember.
I feel.
Know that.